The Zarkothi Imperial Dome shimmered under the twin suns of Kavareth Prime, a monument of arrogance and artistry stretching miles into the violet sky. Gilded crystal walls pulsed with rhythmic ambient light. Alien dignitaries, cloaked in silks, scales, or tech plating, murmured in dozens of languages. Tonight was not war. Tonight was diplomacy, or the illusion of it. Dr. Anna Voss moved through the crowd with practiced grace. Her Terran diplomat's sash rested gently over her shoulder, and one hand stayed near her belly, instinctively shielding the child within. 7 months. Closed now. She offered polite nods, a soft smile here and there. Behind the serenity was the steel of a seasoned envoy. Her voice had helped draft trade treaties and staved off at least 2 border skirmishes. Being human had once been a disadvantage in these halls. Not anymore. The murmur in the room dimmed as General Vierex Talakar entered. Tall, draped in battle crests, he walked like a man who believed the floor owed him stability. Zarkothi tradition followed him, 6 guards, blood-red armor, and a trail of fear. His victories were brutal, his ambition boundless. 100 worlds had bent under his command. He stopped directly in front of Anara. "You are the human ambassador?" His voice grated like steel dragged on stone. His black eyes narrowed on her belly. "And breeder?" Her smile didn't falter. "Dr. Anara Voss, diplomatic envoy of the Terran Concord." "Yes, I'm also expecting. Pregnant, and among warriors," he muttered with distaste. "Do your kind parade weakness as a strategy?" Anara's voice was calm. "Strength comes in many forms, General. Some grow inside us." Talakar's nostrils flared. "Perhaps you mistake tolerance for equality." Then, before anyone could react, he moved. His legs snapped forward, swift, brutal. The sound echoed like a hammer hitting flesh. Anara flew back, crumpling into a low marble platform. The crowd gasped. Blood bloomed across her dress. She didn't scream. The guards stood still. The music stopped. No one moved. "She disrespected me," Talakar growled. A childbearing female challenging a general. A Zarkothi minister hesitated. "General, I believe she is human," Talakar interrupted. "Irrelevant." 40,000 kilometers above, Commander Elias Voss stood at the center of the TDS Hammerfalls command bridge when the alert came. "Emergency flash, hospital priority," barked the comms officer. "Patient, Dr. Anara Voss." Time slowed. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. In one fluid motion, Elias turned and strode out, issuing orders before the bridge doors finished hissing open. "Pre-flight sequence. Combat prep. We're leaving orbit." "But sir, Kavareth Prime is—" "Now." The hammerfall cut from its holding pattern and dove into the atmosphere, protocols be damned. The Zarkothi medical nexus was sterile, gleaming, and cold. A towering tridome of synth glass and xenon plating, it housed the finest medtech in the quadrant. Yet Elias couldn't shake the feeling that every moment inside it stole something warm from his soul. Dr. Hyrek, a Zarkothi surgeon, met him in the corridor, expression unreadable. "She lives," he said without preamble. "There was uterine bleeding. Severe trauma. The child still unstable. Artificial gestation protocols initiated." Elias said nothing. His jaw clenched, knuckles white. Hyrek continued oblivious. "You must understand, priority was given per triage protocol. Zarkothi infants. She is my wife," Elias cut in. "And that child is mine." Hyrek blinked, something twitching in his throat. "Yes. Of course." The room was quiet. Machines hummed. Tubes pulsed. Anara lay motionless, her skin pale, monitors clinging to her like vines. Elias stepped forward, took her hand, and pressed it against his face. "I'm here," he whispered. "We're okay. You're safe now." She stirred slightly, lips parting. Her voice cracked like dry leaves. "Eli, they didn't care." "I care," he said. "And now they will." The next day, beneath the council spire, the Concord Tribunal gathered in emergency session. Species from across the stars, Tari, Virelans, Turanti, all present. The Zarkathi delegation stood smug, lined in ceremonial stone gray. Talakar was absent, of course. Cowards rarely show up twice. The human ambassador made a half-hearted protest. We condemn General Talakar's actions, but we seek a diplomatic. Elias Voss walked into the chamber, in full battle uniform. Gasps rippled. He wasn't invited. No one tried to stop him. He stepped forward, placed a microcrystal on the council table, and activated it. A 3D image sprang to life, the gala, the dialogue, the moment Talakar's foot drove into his wife's abdomen. Silence followed. A Zarkathi diplomat cleared his throat. Our culture views direct confrontation. I don't give a damn about your culture, Elias said quietly. He kicked a pregnant woman in the gut and walked away. That's not confrontation. That's cowardice. The Tari ambassador stood. What justice does your kind demand, Commander Voss? Elias locked eyes with him. An apology. Public. On record. And his removal from command. A murmur rolled across the chamber. Some nodded. The Zarkathi hissed. That, said one of them, is an act of war. No, Elias said. It's restraint. That night, back in the medical wing, Elias sat beside Anna again. He's walking free, she whispered, eyes barely open. I know. Don't lose yourself. I won't. He leaned forward, voice like flint. I'm going to make him kneel. Not with rage. With truth and fire, and the eyes of the galaxy watching. She smiled faintly. That's the man I married. He kissed her knuckles, stood, and left without another word. Elsewhere on Kavareth, in a shadowed balcony overlooking the Senate district, Talakar poured himself a dark Zarkathi tonic. He's human, he muttered. What can he do? He didn't see the red targeting laser flick across his window before vanishing. Kavareth's skyline burned gold under the morning light, but inside the council spire, shadows ruled. The rotunda, built to inspire awe, now felt like a stage for liars and cowards. Ambassador Reel of Earth cleared his throat as if trying to swallow the discomfort thick in the room. Commander Elias Voss stood alone at the tribunal's center, no guards, no legal counsel, no ceremonial robes. Just polished Terran armor and eyes that had seen worse things in darker places. Across from him, delegates shifted in their seats. The Zarkathi contingent reclined, arms folded, confident. We've reviewed the evidence, droned a Turanti judge. The footage is disturbing, but General Talakar cites cultural prerogative. He claims provocation. She was pregnant. Elias interrupted, voice low and even. She posed no threat. She was a guest. And he used his boot. Some delegates looked away. The Zarkathi envoy, Lord Mektal, stood with mock solemnity. Our general regrets the outcome. Perhaps the human female should have been escorted by a male. This is custom. You call that regret? Elias asked, stepping closer. We don't escort our women like livestock. We walk beside them. Mektal tilted his head. Your kind confuses equality with chaos. A childbearing female challenging a war hero. Elias raised a hand. Enough. He turned to the Concord representatives. You all saw what happened. You can spin it in layers of tradition and politics, but the truth doesn't bend. He attacked a diplomat. A defenseless one. Earth seeks reparations? Asked a Virelan magistrate. No. Elias's voice cooled further. We seek justice. But if that's not on the table, there are other ways. The air in the chamber shifted. Rio flinched. Commander, let's not. I've already been ordered to stand down publicly, Elias said. This isn't Earth speaking. It's me. He turned and walked out. No one followed. Back on the Hammerfall, Elias entered the tactical chamber, where his old team waited. Lieutenant Ayaka stood first. You're going dark. Yes, he replied. We're activating Cerberus protocol. Joran, bulky and half-drunk, raised a brow. Over one incident? It wasn't just one, Elias said. It was the last. Talakar made it personal. Now I'm making it public. Ghent, the ship's AI-human hybrid, flickered into visibility beside a hollow terminal. I've already breached Talakar's comms net. He's broadcasting propaganda. Says humans overreact. Claims the brat was defective. The silence in the room thickened. Elias clenched a fist. We expose him. Fully. His history, his cover-ups, everything. Ayaka leaned in. This ends in one of two ways, tribunal, or open war. Then let's be ready for both. The next phase moved fast. Cerberus' team inserted a probe into Talakar's estate communications array. Ghent intercepted encrypted logs, mentions of unauthorized military movements, disciplinary enforcements against uncooperative species, and a private security force not registered with the Dominion. Elias leaned over the data stream. He's not just a thug. He's building something. A war? Ayaka asked. No. A message. One where he's the center of it. They needed allies. That same evening, Elias met with Queen Kesha of the Tari at her orbital embassy. She rose as he entered, tall, regal, reptilian, her crown humming with genetic memory. I remember the trenches of Exelon 3, she said. You dragged my son out of that crater with half your face burned off. You paid me back in blood during the siege of Veltran, Elias replied. She inclined her head. Why summon me now? He handed her the footage. Because this time, it's not war. It's principle. Kesha watched the video without blinking. Her claws tightened. He kicked a diplomat carrying a child. And Earth was told to stand down. She growled. The galaxy forgets what humans are. That's why I need a Concord tribunal, fully public. No closed doors. Broadcast on every system. Kesha nodded slowly. You'll have my vote. Returning to the Hammerfall, Elias entered the comms chamber alone. Ghent. Connect me to Sage. A moment later, static filled the chamber. Then came a voice, genderless, ancient, laced with digital distortion. You shouldn't call me. I need a network override on Kavareth. Silence. You're trying to burn the galaxy down, Voss. No, Elias said. I'm forcing it to look in the mirror. The AI responded. Transmission pathways rerouted. Tribunal access granted. You're live in 3 hours. As planned, the Concord Tribunal reconvened the next cycle under emergency orders. Viewers across 74 systems tuned in. Most expected Earth to whine. Instead, they got Elias. He stood in front of the council again, this time, not as a soldier, but as a symbol. My name is Elias Voss, commander of the Terran Defense Corps. Husband. Father. He paused, letting the silence carry weight. My wife, Dr. Anna Voss, was kicked by General Talakar while carrying our child. You've seen the footage. I'm not here to debate culture. I'm here to demand consequence. Cameras rotated. Delegates whispered. Some stared impassive. A few looked shaken. Talakar appeared on a split screen, lounging in his palace with a goblet. You speak of consequence? He sneered. Your people are new to this galaxy. Loud, clumsy, fragile. Elias didn't respond to the taunt. Talakar leaned forward. You want justice? I invoke Zarkathi honor right. Trial by combat. I will face you, human. Blade to blade. The room rippled with tension. A Concord judge blinked. Commander Voss, this is not binding. I accept, Elias said. Ambassador Reel nearly collapsed. Commander, no. This isn't Earth's decision, Elias said coldly. This is mine. Back in his quarters, Elias removed his armor. Beneath it was a scar over his ribs, a deep one. He ran a hand across it. Ayaka entered quietly. You're going to fight him. Alone. I have to. He outweighs you by 40 kilos. His bones are plated. He underestimates me. Ayaka nodded. He'll regret that. Down in the medical wing, Elias visited Anara one last time before the duel. She was awake now, eyes sharp despite the bruises. "You're going to fight him," she said flatly. "I have to. I didn't marry a martyr." He knelt. "I'm not dying for justice. I'm defining it." She gripped his wrist. "Then win. Not just for me. For us." The arena hovered in orbit like a crown of silence over Kavareth Prime, a floating crucible of polished obsidian and shimmering alloy, built to house ceremonial duels between galactic titans. Now, for the first time in its ancient history, a human would step inside. Across 70 systems, billions tuned in. Some watched out of curiosity. Others out of disgust. Many waited for the spectacle of a Terran humbling. But a few, in secret corners of distant worlds, hoped for something else. Inside the staging chamber, Elias Voss stood bare-chested as his armor systems sealed piece by piece, carbon fiber plates etched with Terran runes, reinforced by nanoweave muscle fibers. Sleek, quiet, efficient. Built for precision, not intimidation. Ayaka adjusted his gauntlet without a word. Gent's voice came through the comms. "Telemetry locked. Vitals stable. Pulse fast." "Good," Elias said. "Means I still care." Across the chasm, General Vierex Talakar entered the ring, massive, broad-shouldered, clad in ceremonial warplates twice the thickness of standard combat gear. The armor gleamed, embossed with the skulls of conquered species. Talakar's twin axes were magnetized to his back, curved and jagged like something torn from a nightmare. A Concordian judge floated between them, hovering in a grav disk. "This duel is sanctioned under Article 7, Subsection 3 of the Concord Honor Codes. Combatants fight until incapacitation, submission, or death. Intervention voids the trial." No one spoke. The judge vanished upward. The ring darkened. Then lights flared, and a low tone sounded. The fight began. Talakar moved first, heavy, fast, brutal. One axe whipped forward like a thunderclap. Elias ducked, rolled, pivoted behind him, slicing low with a plasma-edged short blade. Sparks flew. Metal groaned. Talakar turned with a grin. "You're quick. But that won't matter." Elias circled. "We'll see." The Zarkathi general charged, swinging both axes in a hammering arc meant to cleave through bulkhead armor. Elias didn't meet it head-on. He stepped aside, let the momentum overextend Talakar, then drove his elbow into the alien's kidney plate. Talakar snarled and staggered. "You fight like prey," he spat. Elias replied. "I fight to win." They clashed again. Each impact sent shockwaves across the arena floor. Viewers gasped as Elias narrowly avoided a decapitating blow by sliding under a swing, planting an explosive charge on Talakar's back before vaulting away. The charge detonated with a flash of white heat. Talakar roared as part of his left pauldron shattered, exposing raw, violet flesh beneath. The Zarkathi's tone shifted. "You're no ordinary soldier." "I'm human," Elias said. "That's enough." Talakar attacked with renewed fury, slashes, kicks, headbutts, each designed to break rhythm, to dominate. But Elias didn't fight fair. He countered with speed, with intelligence, with angles Talakar didn't recognize. He weaponized misdirection, used feints to lead into traps. 1 second he was gone, the next he was slicing behind Talakar's knee joint. The general bled now, black blood dripping onto obsidian. On the hammerfall, Anara watched from the medbay. Her heart pounded. The screen flickered as Elias dodged another killing blow, and returned one of his own. "He's not trying to kill him," she whispered. "Not yet," Ayaka answered beside her. "He's breaking him down." 10 minutes in, Talakar's breathing grew ragged. Sweat pooled in the creases of his armor. His movements slowed. Elias circled again. "Still think we're fragile?" Talakar didn't respond. He rushed. Elias waited until the last second, then sidestepped, drove a blade through Talakar's thigh, and twisted. The general collapsed to one knee. The arena dimmed. The roar of the galaxy faded. Elias stood over him, blade to throat. Talakar wheezed. End it. No, Elias said coldly. You don't get that mercy. He turned, raising his voice. Let all of you watch this. Let every species remember this moment. He pressed a button on his wrist. The arena screens changed, footage appeared, Talakar kicking Anara, the blood, the aftermath, the silence that followed from those in power. Then Elias looked down at his enemy. You're going to apologize. Not to me. To my wife. And to every human you ever spat on. Talakar's jaw trembled. The shame, the weight of the galaxy's eyes, he couldn't hold it. His pride fractured. He spoke, barely audible. I apologize. Louder. I apologize, Talakar growled. To your mate. It was dishonorable. Elias stepped back. That'll do. The arena lights cut out. The duel was over. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, silence reigned. Later, in a private chamber aboard the Hammerfall, Elias peeled off the last of his armor and stepped into the recovery bay. Anara sat upright now, color returned to her cheeks, her hand resting gently on her stomach. He did it? She asked. Elias nodded. On his knees. You're owed 1,000 apologies, but that one, he had to choke on. She smiled faintly. Good. I like watching bastards choke. Elias sat beside her, took her hand. The weight of the battle, the pressure of diplomacy, the blood on his blades, it all faded for a moment. He's alive, she murmured. He is. That's restraint. No, Elias said. That was strategy. In the following days, repercussions rippled. The Zarkathi High Command stripped Talakar of rank, citing diplomatic misconduct. Concordian delegates issued sanctions and demanded oversight on Zarkathi military operations. Earth's reputation shifted overnight, from a newcomer to a power no one wanted to provoke. General Elias Voss was offered a new title, Concord Military Liaison, with oversight on multi-species training and honor law enforcement. He declined. I'll serve Earth, he told them. Not politics. Weeks later, Elias stood again on the bridge of the Hammerfall, stars stretching in every direction. The ship pulsed beneath his boots, silent, ready. Behind him, Ayaka entered with a date pad. Zarkathi movements near the frontier. No declarations yet. Could be nothing. Or something, Elias replied. He glanced out at the void. Somewhere out there, Talakar was hiding, wounded, humiliated, but alive. They'll test us again. Ayaka nodded. What then? Elias's eyes narrowed. Then we remind them why kicking a human is the last mistake they'll ever make.